I like Uptown Link Up. Yes, sir. Hello?
Hello.
Is this Uptown Link Up?
Yes, it is.
Oh, best program ever.
Come back and be this passionate about this.
How do we, as Jamaicans, then know our history?
5 goat in killer weekend time. And him made 3 goat meat.
And remember the elderly that make this possible that everyone, because without the senior.
Who start to dig the post hole when light decides to come in. You never have no sidewalk and you have the bank inside.
Yes, this is Uptown Link Up. Today we have a very, very special, another very, very special person with us. Today we're going to be speaking with Carl White, aka Zebulon. And this person is very dear to our community, Hermitage. As you know, we're exporting Hermitage reggae to the world. And we have to start with the roots, the root persons who really start the program in Hermitage. Welcome, Mr. Zebulon.
Blessed, my brother. Give thanks. Always a pleasure to be with our community. Many people don't know about us, but good that through your effort and being effort and others that you are bringing the golden years and golden touch of the Hermitage community to the world. Give thanks.
Thank you very much. It's always a beautiful thing for us to hear from the seniors. The seniors is the ones who tell the stories that causes us to know what is happening and can move forward in the future. Welcome again,
so
Sir
true.
Zebulon.
Always a pleasure, my brother.
Could you tell us a little bit about your lineage? Who else do we know from your lineage, from your family, that is from the community of Hermitage?
Well, my mother lived in Hermitage for many years, down on Escampment Road, right down to the bottom, when you're coming right on the curve to come back around like a horseshoe. My mother have been living there for many years, so being mother, I can call it my second home, because I usually live across Bedwood Pass. So every day was a stopping for me. And the visit going there otherwise is always some more fitting, because my brethren over next door, Sange, oh boy, he's a staple in the community. And as it pertains to reggae music, I would say a staple in the world, so be known.
Yes.
So it's always a pleasure to go over his house in Hermitage.
Yes.
So much to talk about then.
So it's only your mother. Do you have any other siblings?
Yes. Well, anywhere mother is, children follow. So we have another well-known brother. I call him my little big brother. He was the last one, but so be known. Robert Sutherland. Yeah, doing the music, and there's so many other, not blood relative, but spiritual brothers and sisters. A lot of them live in Hermitage. So when I go to Hermitage, I am at home. I can go to any one of them house. Not only my direct mother and brother, but any others as my brethren and sisters. I am always welcome. And you talk from Peyton Place right down in Hermitage. So many of them live there. And of course, when you go back out on the road and you go down the hill, down into June Road to Augustown, is another flock. Yeah.
Yes, nice. And anyone who don't know who Robert Sutherland is the same man who we call Quinty Byrne. You understand me?
Him same man, him never stop Quinn, but he's my brother.
Yeah, we love him, man.
Yeah, man, little brother. Really
yes,
nice.
for real.
Yeah, man.
I want you to kind of tell the world and the Hermitage community of the time, that you came in, what year it was that you came in, and some of the things that you saw when you came in.
Okay, scratching my memory box now. I think it was about between 1976, 1977. Because what it was, I live in almost all the ghettos throughout Jamaica. Talk about born and grown in Greenwich Farm, live up Maxwell Avenue, live in Waterhouse, live in out east, yes. And the last ghetto, so to speak, as they call it, would really be up in Bedford Pass, right across the river from Augustown. Now, you know, when you take that little lane, go all the way down to the bottom of Bedford Pass, you drop out down into June Road, right down into Augustown. Then you make the right and go up the hill, and you're right there in Hermitage, right? And of course, the university is right across the road. Well, Hermitage for me, because that time in the 76, 77, when I moved up there, was because the 12th tribe of Israel, which when I was living down over in Tex Lane and also in Waterhouse part of the time, I was a member of the 12th tribe. Well, you know, different things happen, and him who regarded as a prophet God moved up into Bedford pasture. So automatically where the shepherd go, all the sheep go. So that is how we reach up there now to be our residence. Well, we had scattered all over because down Augustown, up in Hermitage, and of course my mother, not long after, moved up into Hermitage. So it's like now we get a chance to take the whole community. We're talking about from down Augustown, up to Bedford Pass, up to Hermitage. And the thing about Hermitage which really stand out to us is that we usually train over UC football. And of course, when you come out to UC, is right down a Peyton place that we have a number of brethren and sisters. Then you come out, you go down, look more, you pass the shop, and you go down, you have that little church at the corner. You're right down into Hermitage. So it's like, we always feel like senators visiting our community, our different residents every day. When I say Dean here now, I can remember those days when Dean was a young man like myself, probably a little younger, you know. And it was so, we become so intertwined that because we were 12 tribe and we usually play football over the park, that when we come down, automatically our brother would grow because everybody is so close.
Yes.
Now the thing about Hermitage, even from Peyton Place go down, was there to me was like a middle class era because a lot of people work over the university, live down there.
Yes.
So, you know, it was properly blended when we, the 12 tribe of Israel, move in.
Yes.
Because we move in with almost a passe. You talk about Sunday. You talk about some renowned musicians.
Yes.
Remember, Bob used to come, Sandy used to cook and make Jews sell him food, right? So, man, come down there. So much of these outstanding musicians. And you talk Bob Marley, even Jimmy Cliff, right? Plus Sandy, not only cook food, him write music, him also sing. So, plus he would set up a section for rehearsal. So it's like we came in as a band, but more now to put some more life in the community. As I say, one, it was inhabited by a lot of people who work at the UC. So you talk about a part middle class era. And then we Rasta come in, particularly the 12 tribe of Israel, is to put that little extra blessing upon the place.
Yes.
And truly, it became a blessing for us too.
Yeah.
That is just a synopsis of the whole thing,
It's a blessing. It's a blessing when we hear the stories, of these times, What is in those times? There are so many. I heard of the people call it the happy times in the community.
Yes.
Yes,
it was. Yes, it was.
Can you tell us your happiest time in that time?
Well, I'll tell you, my happiest times is when I come over Sunday and Mommy, boy, with much regret to pass and gone already. But you'd probably feel bad if I said that. But my happiest times when I come over and go over Sange, because you're talking about so much of them big name, especially reggae artists, used to come by. And Sange Yard is a big yard. We play domino, we reason, so much things. And of course, most of our reason was positive reason about progress, about the Bible particularly, about our future. And to see how even those happy times mushroom into so many of these artists became world renowned. So I look and say, as individual, it's people make community and not so much community making people.
Yes.
Because I have ghosts also live in communities. And you're not going to amplify it because of that. Otherwise, you just go to the summit to go build your house. But
Yes.
the people who came into Hermitage, and as I said, Sange was a staple there. Boy, it put so much life in the community that I am happy to say the community, being a small one, endear us to them and vice versa. So those were some real happy times in the 70s, the later 70s, going up into the 80s, into the 90s, into the 2000s. Well, of course, things change because most of them migrate. Unfortunately, Bob passed away, so a real stalwart had gone. Dennis Brown, you talk about Judy Mott, some of the high trees, then, so many renowned artists and individuals came there. You talk about professionals, even Dr. Pee Wee was one who was always frequenting the area. And right up at Peyton Place, Peter Phillips, was the opposition leader for the, in government in Jamaica. He usually lived around Peyton Place because I used to visit around his house then. But them time I was 12 tribe of Israel,
Yes.
was a 12 tribe of Israel with his wife and children, Minnie. So it was a community that encompassed so many different people of influence and of course blended with spiritual minded people. It grew into be one of, if only a pity they didn't do a documentary on Hermitage, they would realize how so many great things and people came out of that small community.
You are doing the documentary now. You are
Yeah,
doing,
yeah.
You are doing
If I-
the piece.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just adding part of the facts to it. Well,
Yes.
yeah.
Mr. Ron.
Yeah, man. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you, Mr. Sean, as an audience. I'm here listening and observing, and must give my one piece. I want to thank you for on the show, but I think what most of all I would like you to tell the world, which as a youth growing up, your moment, you shared with me that you were the one that take Bob Marley to be a member of the 12th tribe of Israel. And how do you feel now to see and hear how the world is talking about Bob Marley? Because you look very simple, I'm the man that bring the man to come. Is that the man who take me to join scouting? He was, how that moment was and how it is now.
Good thing you ask a question. It's so funny. I don't talk about certain things that, to me striking. I always rely on people to remember it and talk about it. So I really give thanks that you are doing such. I'm humble about it still, but just correcting one little part. I wasn't the one who actually took Bob Marley to join 12 Tribe, but I was the one when he came to that meeting in Trenchtown. I was the one who was registering people to be members. And I remember in the line, him was right there in the line. Judy Mott was there as well. And I remember this virgin who went to St. Andrew Technical together. Mark him used to be a cricket wicket keeper. Him sing with the Wheeling Swords.
Yes.
And I remember when Bob came up to me, Alan was in the line to Alan Cole. And I remember when I asked this virgin, what is his name? As normal. As I know him look at Alan and like him wondering, I asked him name, I should have known. Well, I said, no, them call Bob Marley, but I ask you, what is the name?
Yes.
And then him realized I was serious and him say, Robert Marley. And I write him down, stretch out the hand of brother who was glad to see him there. So, yes, and then we maintain a relationship even going forward. we maintain a relationship. One of my sad moments, like encapsulating the years of our relationship. I know in 1975, when our virgin Flipping was going to Ethiopia, I remember him came over Hopeful Village where he was and bring him the Catch a Fire album and give him about 5 albums to carry with him. Because that day Flipping was going to Ethiopia. That I remember. But one of my real sad moments, remembering Bob, is a week, if it's not, no, it's about 2 weeks before him pass. It was a Friday night that him called at HQ. This time now we were at Old Oak Road. And when him called, I was the one who took up the phone and was talking, I realized he was in the hospital at the time and we hear what was going on, because Pee Wee, him doctor, keep your breast. But in talking to Bob now, it's the first I really hear him so low, that I remember I said to him, Bob, we just pray for you that God just keep you, because I don't think I'm going to take you away because you have so much work to do. You have an album to make for 12 Tribe, and I know you have more souls to bring. I remember those words. It's like it indelibly written on my heart that I said to him. And it was him feel so upbeat even after that. So you can just imagine when less than 2 weeks after that, when Bob died, I couldn't believe the same one I was talking to. Because he was my brother. He was my brother. We usually go down to Island House. He would give 12 Tribe a vehicle. I always have to go check him and it pertain to the vehicle and anything to be done. So I miss him on that score. But now, even from all those relationships, as I say, coming down to Hermitage was always his pleasure. Because like when I want to get away from, because Bob is a man of so many people around him, my God. When I was down Island House and we go down there to check Bob more time, I tell you have to pass a slow man. He was so glad to get away that Hermitage was like his place to rest. And him knowing God was just pure positive reason and vibe with Israel. So with Bob, as I say again, we just giving synopsis, like a brief about, cause you talk about years of relationship, it's so much. You can just imagine when him die, how it's like a ton of brick fall upon all of us.
Yes. I remember my mother, she's a Christian, she never liked reggae music and weed smoking, but when Bob died, she cried. She cried.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit. You have expounded on Bob and that little piece that you gave us. The tears, tears is actually want to come, but
I tell you, man, it's for real, man, for real, for real. Let me tell you something. Just sorry about that, Mr. Moderator, but that moment a while ago that you share with the world, I feel something run to me to be the person. You know what that remind me of? When I got the opportunity to touch the Bible at Bedward. When I went and somebody brought the Bible that Bedward used to use in Augustown. When I touch it, I feel a current. And believe you me, just into you a while ago, the history just interject. I don't know. I just feel a current for me to explain.
Yeah,
it's real. Yeah, man. Respect, man. Sorry about that, man.
Anything on Bonnie? Anything on Peter?
Well, to be quite honest, I wasn't as familiar as with Bonnie to a little extent because I perform on one of our show and then we always telling Bonnie that him is Ruben and him always look back and say I straight, which Ruben is a tribe based on the mountain band. So and then sometimes we used to go out to St. Thomas. Go run pan the sun. We would have go by Bonnie, but not as familiar as like with Bob. because so much, even time we play football together, so much thing. But the part that was so grievous to me is that when him died, I remember the day before I was talking to Delroy Wilson. And him say, you know, we see at the funeral tomorrow, man. I say yes. And I remember when we was going up at 9 miles, going up the Elysium, was walking up. So when I reach up there, I took my post right beside this, what do you call it now? I still remember the name. Where them set up, where they put the casket. So I was right beside it when they put this casket, and I remember I asked the grave digger, the man who pushing it, I said, "What is that other part for? Who is that for?" And he just said to me, "That part is for his wife." That I say, his wife? You already prepare a hole to push her casket in. As it turned out, the mother was put into that place. So that part, it really hit me real hard because I'm just looking at Bob, who I just talked a couple weeks prior to, and now I am watching him put away the end of his glorious life, you know. That part really touched up to this day. And then, you know, knowing that I feel responsible for him death sometimes, because as I bring him into write their name to be a member of 12 Tribe of Israel. I always encourage him when he perform at this show at Tropical, right? And some man come and fire shot. I'm looking through the door and watching all of what's going on, and then perform there. You know, it just coming like everything just cut short. But as I said, it was good that to spend those pleasant years in memories. You know, it was good that to spend those years in memories of some great time. And one other thing I remember as it pertained to Bob, I was going down there. 4 of us was driving to go down to Ireland and also check Bob, because I was doing something to the vehicle. We had to go country get it registered. That vehicle gave us. And it was right at Matilda's corner. Some police draw down on us. And the first thing them say, you think we can't see 4 man in a car and stop and check them? So we check it. I'm saying down Island now, so going down a Bob Marley. Him never care, him carry a mad scan and lock up for the night. You know? Bob Marley, yeah. And you know, Hermitage as a community, yeah, it have a lot to do with us. I remember Dean, he surround on the road and play football. I was a pleasant gentleman. Now seeing him after those many years. You know, it bring back pleasant memory, even though, you know, it's sort of still so blend with sadness. Yeah.
Peter? Anything on Peter Tosh?
No. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't familiar with Peter Tosh. And I plead guilty on that one. There was more Bob chose me. Yeah, I'm just such a low-key person. But Bob, yes.
If I may just wanna give a moment of silence for the great Nestor, and you can just bless it up for me, please.
Yes. 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 Lord, you know, you tell us that the righteous is taken away from the judgment to come. We don't know your mind, but you give us your word, and we will believe that him is taken away from the judgment to come. But one thing that wasn't able to take away is his voice, that he already sings so many prophetic songs of hope, of promise to the world. So that I'm glad for, you know. And with that, we just pray and trust, Lord, to keep his soul securely placed under the altar of saints in the bosom of Abraham till the day of resurrection, as you promise. Bob Marley and all those that gone ahead. Blessings.
I just want to ask one more question before it, Sean. I know you mentioned something about Bunny and Peter Tosh. I get maybe my understanding is that the Rastafari of different religion, like how you have the Adventists, where you guys born in a different religion than the 12 tribe, or most of those Rastaman was from a different tribe or different religion.
All right. I can put it this way, you know, I think people understand better. The term religion to us sounds too divisive. As if to say a people who are conscious enough to accept say, that there's a God, and that God is the one who preserve them and inspire and keep them alive. As if to say it's two different gods. But I know as his son is not divided, so shouldn't our understanding and expression and worship of him be divided. But the reality is that yes, we are divided. And the division come because Rastaman in earlier years, and again Augustine come into prominence when you're thinking about Rasta, God killed two Bedward, Owell and Bedward and Marcus Garvey, all those man. Putting a spotlight on Africa when you see a king crown. Now Rastaman take his cue from the name Rastafari, Haile Selassie. So you find now in that way, they see Rastafari as the source of their worship. Now it become like a contradiction between those who say, well, Rastaman say is Christian people, is God people, and they must say Rastafari, as against those who, as devout Christian, go to church and so on, say Jesus Christ. In reality, and as time goes on that we understand more, Jesus Christ is never divided. So whoever you perceive him to be, just like how for some people God is a stone, some people God is a cow, God is a tree, and so on. For us, God is a spirit that dwelleth in man. Right? So now Rastafarians would say Haile Selassie is, and of course they have a point, because we're in Christendom say is a white man is Jesus. The Rastaman say no, is a black man, and it must be Rastafari, Haile Selassie. What Haile Selassie does, being a devout Christian and as a descendant from the line that it is prophesied that David, Solomon, and even Jesus Christ did come from and would come again, Rastaman say Haile Selassie represent that person. Well, now we as Rastafarian also, we say yes, Jesus Christ is it. He is he who must come. But we said Jesus Christ, that same body that died and was risen, is alive until this day. So then the question is, was he Haile Selassie? No. So how Haile Selassie Rastafari come into it? Well, because as a Christian king from that lineage, you have brought Jesus Christ to the nation, even testifying that he wasn't saved by anything of the character of the human heart, but by the blood of Jesus Christ alone. And if it is alone, it means there is no other. And if Jesus Christ died and resurrected, it means he's alive until this day. So some people would ask him, where is? Well, certainly he is not Haile Selassie, but the attributes of Jesus Christ that now we suppose exemplify, and in this case, Haile Selassie, which is where the name Rastafari come from, him really exemplify the life of a Christian king, one who born and saved through the blood of Jesus Christ, as testified. So now that difference, even as it pertains to Rastafari, when we say Jesus Christ, some say Jesus Christ, some say it's not, then it come like a contradiction. But much credit to them, because it get the world focusing on the reality that Jesus Christ is not just only a spirit, but a spirit take on flesh and is a man. But I am telling you, and you bear me witness, I am not saying it is Haile Selassie.
Okay. Okay.
But I will tell you this much. Just last year I was in Israel. And funny enough, when I was there, that's the understanding I learned from the history of the land, that there is Northeast Africa. So Jesus Christ, I even went to the manger where he was born, where they said this is a spot where they find baby Jesus. So he was born in Northeast Africa. Hence, he could not. And this you can blow it to the world. And I dare any two-footed man, woman, or beast to come and contradict me successfully. And if they doubt me, they don't have to come to me. Just go to Google and Google will tell you everything. But again, it wasn't Haile Selassie, but the attributes like the personality of Jesus Christ as a Christian king, he truly exemplifies it. Yes. So in reality, Rasta and Rasta, we agree in that way. But in our definition and explanation, there's a good difference. But is Jesus Christ divided? No, so.
You mentioned a name, flipping. Could you explain on
flipping.
What is this?
Well, I find out after Bob came in the organization, flipping was there. Them know each other longer than me. So, even when Bob Marley went to Ethiopia, flipping did even write a song for him. Because, when I go to Ethiopia, I meet flipping before I pass away. I remember we always talk about those times, Well, because of that long time friendship going to boyhood days, that is all when flipping was going to Ethiopia. I think it was in 1975, and went after me. It was when Bob came to our HQ where he was then, a Whoopwood Village, and give him 5 albums to carry up, So flipping was one of them patriots, yes, who was one of the early settlers in Ethiopia, who did a lot of good things, a lot of good things. One of the people, when you go there, you always have a brother who you can spend a whole day laughing and talking, playing peer. And funny enough, as I said to him, I come to Ethiopia a couple of times, and he was the first man who stayed the whole day and I'm playing gospel music. Surprisingly,
yes.
Philippines, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I want to ask you, been through all that you've been through, you have awoken actually the residues of our community,
Yeah.
And we're very happy to have you. We're still feeling that peaceful breeze that Bob felt when the wind blew in our community. We're still feeling the energy of the times that you're speaking about.
Yes,
Is there anything more that you'd like to add that we haven't asked?
One of the things I always hope for, because even 2019, I went to Jamaica, and I remember I went to over Bedford Pass, because I live over there, as I tell you. And then, drive down to the bottom, down to Juno, turn up, come. That I even drive through Hermitage, just looking on the community. It is not as blooming as it was in earlier years. Of course, some of the lights that shone in Hermitage in earlier years kind of flicker out.
Yes.
And of course, we talk about some of those people who used to pass, who give life to the community, who have passed away. How much can we restore the importance of the community, hence attracting those people, that those lights can be turned on back among who are there? And that is, sometimes you have so much different thought as to how you don't want to do it and so on. And of course, the conclusion always, yes, it take cash to care. It take money to do all of this. Yes, that is true in one aspect, but in another aspect, sometimes you have to create it. So if there is nothing, you have to create something.
Yeah.
And if we can know, especially Zebedee, I know him is here still, and I think it is in his spirit how much him can do something still, bring importance to the community. If as like you say, survivors can still do our part while we are here, because that's all we are responsible for, the time we are here.
Yes.
And hopefully have constructive minds, right? Encouraging and empowering them to carry forth the tradition. How wonderful it would be. Then, if you can liaise with even the university, I think they could help, because sometimes it seems like they always want to help progressive groups of people and so on. They could help, because I say so many university workers used to live in Hermitage and still do. And in terms of music, how much I know there are some hidden talents there as well, how much we can honor them, put them on the front page, it would be so good. And I still would appeal to even those especially reggae artists, how much they can still help is a win-win.
Yes.
It's a win-win, because you are resurrecting a community that have meant so much to humanity. Some of our people have gone and some are still here. How much we can reshine that light. Like the glow. I think we'd have preferred daylight light more than the regular yellow light.
Yes.
Daylight light seems to shine brighter. How much we can restore some of that. And we're like calling upon them to help,
The Kingston 7 are the constituency that we're in right now. In the past, or when even a fire in our community, and we call the fire fire station, they fly past Hermitage because they recognize nothing as a community.
Yeah.
And know that we're kind of through Hermitage Reggae, this program we are going to be broadcasting in the month of February.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be broadcasting now that all these beautiful things that we were speaking about, just to let the world know that there is this little place that most seniors call the gateway to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Yes. I think it's a positive classification to classify Hermitage. Yep, I think so. Cause it's too often that small places that make so much big influence on humanity is forgotten. It's too often. So you did a good job in that, and I pray the good Lord, preserve you and Dean and others to make that be a reality. And in so doing, you might be able to find some in 2 inches of land somewhere inside the community that we can establish a monument. Yes, it created job, yes, but even more so maintaining a history in that community.
Thank you very much.
So good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. I applaud you, and Sean has been doing a tremendous job taking these messages to the world. And I want to tell you, I'm on a committee with the Northeastern Diaspora in the United States and the Global Diaspora. And we are working at Hermitage becomes a part of a tourism, community tourism. Holy music, that's where French domino is. We have so many things there.
Yes,
and we have planned to install a monument. We plan to install veterans, all the scouts. There's so many scouts, reggae star. We're going to be having our history that people can come. But when we talk it, they might say, because people would never understand when I tell somebody I am 100% Hermitage man, no cream. I mean,
that's true.
bad times, I'm not sometime Hermitage. and they don't know why we love the community so unless they feel a part of it. I would love to but once you come in Hermitage, you cannot explain it to no one else. But I want to thank you for sharing that with the world. Because me and Sean, that's what I said. The citizens of Hermitage, that's what we're saying. And have somebody more than once who have lived Hermitage for a long time. We're just seeing it for how many years we haven't seen each other. And for you to be echoing the same thing, it's not like we said, say this. I'm really appreciate it. And I'm going to ensure, as I said, I'm in a committee where I sit on, and we're going to make sure that Hermitage becomes a part on the map to be a part of the tourism product. Because it's just naturally, we're not going to make up anything. I think the road ball, the skimmage, there are so many things that tourists come and see real Jamaica.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. It's coming like an extension of even Island House in a smaller way, Cause I remember, everybody go to Jamaica want to visit Bob Marley Museum, but consider that him grace the place even with his presence. Why not? It's fitting to be an extension.
Thank you, Zebedee, and I want to add that each and every person who live in our community is lifting their hats off to you at this very moment.
And I just send a shout out to Bully Judah and Sharon. Them live right across from Sange. They are a staple in Hermitage also.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Stay blessed, my brother. Thanks for the opportunity. Just to say, as I say, a little synopsis, a little taste. So much more to say, but time does not afford. But thanks for your effort of carrying it even further.
I like Uptown Link Up. Yes, sir. Hello?
Hello.
Is this Uptown Link Up?
Yes, it is.
Oh, best program ever.
Come back and be this passionate about this.
How do we, as Jamaicans, then know our history?
5 goat kill a weekend time. And them not eat she goat meat.
And remember the elderly that make this possible that everyone, because without the senior.
Who start to dig the post hole when light decides to come in. You never have no sidewalk and you have the bank inside.